Kevin, hi.
Oh, Barbara. Hello. I did. Where did you come from? Wow, I had no idea that you're going to be here in my living room. That's great.
Zoomland.
In Zoom land, exactly.
How are you?
Good. I'm really good. Just sort of trying to find new and entertaining, ways to kind of keep my brain fresh and engaged in this weird time.
I know. I know. Well, we kind of completed 25 years. I mean, our 25th season was cut short, so we had to postpone our spring show, but we have recorded 25 years. And
Wow.
when I think back, you have been such a part of the theater. I first met you in 1997 when you auditioned for Old Wicked Songs. And I remember that so distinctly because you brought Ben.
Oh, did I really?
You did, you brought Ben. I don't think he was taller than waist high.
Yeah, he would have been 5, yeah.
5.
Yeah.
And now you are, to look at Ben, you must be so proud. He's a performer in his own right.
Yeah, he's amazing. I always say, we want our children to be more successful than we are, but maybe not quite so quickly.
Yeah.
Because he pretty much hit the ground running.
Well,
I think the first professional show he auditioned for was, well, I don't even know if he auditioned for. Yeah, he ran over and read for Peter Rothstein to be in master class, and so his first show was for La Ti Da, working with Peter Rothstein, working with Sally Wingert. So that's not a bad way to start off your professional career.
nope.
And then he's done a ton of shows there at La Ti Da for them. He did, he did all his Calm, all the various incarnations, including the one that was recorded for PBS. And then he did Ragtime and Sweeney Todd and Assassins.
Well, wait a second. Let's get back to you.
Me?
I want
to talk about my children.
There's so much to talk about with you.
Yes.
So that was back in 1997. You did Old Wicked Songs, and then it was a sold-out hit, and we brought it back. Mm-hmm. And since that time, you have worked on multiple shows with us, and I'm going to get back to that in a minute. But when I think about what you do and have done, you are a music director for the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah.
You are a teacher at Horseman Elementary.
Mm-hmm.
You've been a director on stage, a music director, and an actor. But I don't think, Kevin, that I know what your background is that has given you that huge skill set. What is your background?
Well, honestly, I don't, my background, I have a degree in theater, speech communications with an emphasis in theater at Iowa State. That's the only thing kind of theater degree that they had. I have an English degree, speech communications. I graduated in '84, moved up here on Tuesday, September 25th, 1984. I remember that because it was a couple days before my dad's birthday. And the following Sunday, auditioned for Park Square Theater. They were holding auditions for a company. They were going to have their first ever acting company. And at the time, Park Square, they were a classical repertory theater when they started off. And so they were doing, Shakespeare and Moliere and Arthur Miller and all the classics. And I went out drinking with some friends on Friday night, and I said, "Hey, I'm new in town. What's going on?" They said, Park Square is having auditions this weekend. So I called, and all of the slots were full, and they said, if you come and just kind of hang out, if somebody doesn't show, we'll work you in. So I ended up sitting there for about almost 2 hours just waiting for a slot. And, I was just eager and happy to be there. I'm going over my monologues in my head, going over my monologues in every corner, and went in and kind of killed it. And they cast me for 4 years there. So
I didn't even know that, Kevin.
Yeah, and when they found out that I played piano, then they started, a lot of times my characters ended up playing piano, sort of a value-added aspect, and that also led to me starting to music direct for a show at Dudley Riggs ETC Theater. Again, the fact that I played piano, they asked me, you're going to be in the show? Do you want to music direct it? And I'm like, okay, that sounds great. And so I learned on the fly. I learned like a lot of us do, I think, by accepting the job and then learning how to do it. And so that was, let's see, the first show I music directed was in 1990, I believe. So, yeah, and then so I've been music directing ever since. Once you've done it, then it's like, yes, I'm a music director.
I can do this. Well, to be honest with you, Kevin, when I think of the work you've done at MJTC, you were on stage in Old Wicked Songs, and there again, we were looking for someone that could play the piano. And then you've directed and music directed last 5 years, and you music directed Chutzpah A Go-Go.
Yep.
And My Mother's Lesbian Jewish Wiccan Wedding.
Yep. Stars of David. Stars of David too.
And Stars of David. So you really
and The Odd Potato. Leave not out The Odd Potato, my friend.
I forgot about The Odd.
As did I until just this millisecond right now. My brain was like, hold on.
And then, of course, you picked up, and I know it was quite lucrative for you, because I could never ask you to do a December show because you were playing Santa's helper in the month of December for Bachman's.
Yeah, this will be my 27th year as Albert the Elf at Bachman's.
Oh, an elf.
Yeah, it's the it's much more than Barbara. It's much more than Santa's helper. I do much more than that. Albert is the head elf, and he runs the show. Yeah, it's it's one of those gigs. You get the call, and it's just like, hey, you want to go be an elf? And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, And I showed up, and it's the only audition I've ever been to where I was the tallest person in the room. And you know me, at 5'5.5", that does not happen. But they like the fact that I played piano, or that I played guitar, and then I did a little improv there, and it was fun, and I really hit it off with the guy. And 27 years later, I'm still having a blast at the holidays. And I also, because holidays are crazy, because then I also do It's a Wonderful Life at the St. Paul Hotel. If we do it this year, this would be our 15th year doing that simultaneously, along with teaching and director of theater arts for the Spring Lake Park District. So that's why Decembers are usually this, I'm like this, with the big eyes.
So of all those different things that you do, I mean, they're all somewhat theatrical, because I know I worked for the St. Paul Public Schools, and getting your focus each day and engaging the kids, you're really on stage.
Absolutely.
What do you enjoy the most? Is there something you could really pick out?
Well, that's like, I've thought about that before. I thought about, as I'm getting closer to 60, thinking about, well, when I start peeling things off, eventually, what would I peel off first? And it's so hard to choose. It's like picking your favorite child, I mean, it's just like, because I love all the things where I'm Mr. Dutcher. I love working with kids so much. I never thought I would be a teacher, much less a music teacher, until they asked me to do it. I mean, I'm not a licensed teacher. I just do it because I went in there. I did a gig. They asked me to come in and put together a little show. I put together a show. It was just amazing, and I had a great time, and the kids had a great time. And the PTO said, "Can you just come in and put together a music program in our school?" And I said, "But I'm not a teacher, And they said, "But you're great. We love you with the kids." And so not knowing how much work it would be, I said, "Okay, I will do it." And it is such a blast to be, now that I've been there I just finished my 8th year. So I've seen many kids enter kindergarten, go all the way up through, and I am part of their elementary music, elementary education experience. And
so this position is funded by the parent teacher organization.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Yeah, I'm an artist in residence, So I love that. I love out of Spring Lake Park. I direct 5 shows a year. I'm in charge of all the theater out there, and I direct a 5th and 6th grade show, 7th and 8th grade show, and then 3 high school shows. So I see them from 5th grade all the way through high school, and that is incredible to see them. We grow up together, and we do so much amazing work out there. I love, I don't know that I could ever give up the jobs where I'm working with kids. You know, I love working with professionals so much. And the Albert the Elf gig too. I mean, after 27 years, I have people come in all the time that they come and they say, you know what, I came and saw you when I was a kid.
I was
And
going to
now
say, the next generation.
right. And now I'm bringing back my kids to see you. In fact, we had some landscape work done by Bachman's, and one of the, I was talking with the guys out front, and one of them, I said, so are you familiar with the holiday program, you know, that they do there? And he kind of sheepishly says to me, I've known you my whole life. And he said, and I bring my kid now to see it. So, I mean, it was, you know, that kind of stuff just makes my day. It's also a little weird, but because, you know, I guess if you come and see me enough, well, it's the only job I've ever had that I'm recognized sometimes. Like Lib and I were in Cub Foods and we were walking around and she says to me, I think that guy's following us. And I'm like, well, at one point I turned and I said, I'm sorry, can I help you? And he said, you're Albert the Elf. And I was just like, oh, okay. That happens about 4 or 5 times a year, you know.
Oh, fun.
It's very fun. It's a little weird, but it's fun.
Well, I know you've done, you know, obviously so many different things. At MJTC, there are, you know, multiple shows you've worked on.
Yeah.
Bringing those back in memory, did you have a favorite one? I know there are always shows for me that stand out. You know, I can't play favorites with my children, but.
Yes. Well, I mean, as a performer, I mean, Parade was amazing. You know, I'm working with Dieter Bierbauer and Ann Michaels, and of course Peter. You know, that was a lot of fun. But I mean, as a performer, Old Wicked Songs was the pinnacle of my, you know, my performance career. But as far as directing or music directing goes, I loved last 5 years. I loved the music so much, and the performances I thought were just incredible. But I also, I mean, as far as, so I'll say that's my favorite directing gig. But music directing, my mother's lesbian Jewish Wicked Wedding was just such a blast. What a delightful show. And I remember when we got the music for that, and it was like this thick. And I thought, there's so much music there. But it just flew through every night. It was just a joy to watch and to do. And the pages would flip by, and it was just like, we're done already. It was such a joy. I think that was the most fun that I've had on a show that I can remember.
I think that's one of my more memorable shows. You know, there was just such an energy that emanated from the stage, and the audience just soaked it up and became a part of it. And do you remember we did projections on the ceiling? And that scene was just, you know, it was unique. And look at the authors now. I mean, you know, they made it to Broadway.
Really? Who is it? I don't know.
Oh my goodness. All of a sudden their names escape me. The husband and wife, Irene and her husband, their show.
David. Wasn't it David?
Yeah. Their show was up for many Tonys, and I think they won one. It's
really?
It's the musical about the airplane being diverted on 9/11 to Newfoundland.
They wrote that?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
What's the name of it?
I know what I know what you're. I don't know either, because of course now the pressure's on. But I didn't realize that. That's so great for them.
That's their show. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very cool.
Isn't it?
Yeah. We'll have to do that one too.
Say that again.
I said we'll have to do that show.
I don't know that there's really Jewish content.
That's what I was just wondering. I don't know.
But maybe they'll be writing another one.
Yeah.
Actually, I did get word that they were in the process, but it kind of got put aside when their other one catapulted to Broadway. I was in touch with their agents, so I should maybe follow up on that. But, you know, because you have been a part of every musical we've done, when I decided that I wanted to do a musical review this year in putting together our season 6 Feet Apart, I thought first of you. And when I called you and asked you if you would conceptualize it with me and put it together with me, you said, well, I don't know, I'll think about it. And I thought, oh no, what am I going to do? And I think you said, I'll get back to you by the end of the week. And it was like a Tuesday. And then you got back to me the next morning. Yes, I'll do it. So I am looking forward to that. Of course, the list of songs that you have put together could be 5 shows. We're going to have to cull it down. And
you think? It's 5 pages, I know. Well, I sent you a list, first of all, of just Jewish American composers. And that was about 4 pages, just a single space list. And then I put together this, I just went through and found some, all these songs. What were you going to say? I'm sorry. I feel like I interrupted you. I apologize.
No.
Well,
it's your process.
Well, it's just interesting because this is the second sort of musical review that I put together. The other one was just based on film music. And so the problem with anything like this is just the scope. It's just narrowing the scope, and especially when you have so much amazing material. I mean, I only sent you the songs that I like. So that's out of all those 5 pages, I like all of that music, a lot. And sometimes, like with Rodgers and Hammerstein, I just wrote, where do we start?
And that's because said with Stephen Sondheim also.
Yeah, I mean,
I know.
Seriously, I mean, but we talk about the Broadway options that we have, and so I'll mention these so that our viewers can get an idea of what we're having to go through here. Just we don't want the show to be all show tunes. We want it to be Jewish American music. So
we talked about Bob Dylan.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But if we just wanted to do show tunes, the options are Rodgers and Hammerstein, and of course Rodgers and Hart, Harold Arlen and Yip Harburg, who did Wizard of Oz and many more. Ashman and Menken, contemporarily, Comden and Green, the Bernsteins, the Gershwins, Lerner and Lowe, Frank Lesser, Kurt Weill, Julie Stein, Jason Robert Brown, and of course the Stevens, Schwartz, and Sondheim. That's a couple shows right there, And then of course there were the obvious pop ones: Neil Diamond, Billy Joel, Simon and Garfunkel, Carole King, Barry Manilow. But I did not know until going through this that some of my other favorites, Lou Reed. I mean, I love Lou Reed. Yeah, Lou Reed. I know. So I mean, we got to do
Lucy Kaplinsky.
Lucy Kaplansky, who I love, and Beck. Beck Hansen. Jim Croce is one of the ones we talk about. Like, really, Jim Croce? Who knew? Laura Nero. I didn't realize that she was Jewish. Randy Newman, and of course, Jim Steinman. Did you recognize that name when I put it up there? Do you know who that is? Jim Steinman wrote all the music for Meatloaf. So, yeah, so the album Bat Out of Hell was all written by a Jewish man. So I think that's just kind of crazy. Now, the problem I was looking at the music and thinking, how do we do Meatloaf with just a piano or a piano and a violin or something? But so that's the other thing. Now we need to pick a few songs and then start to find a theme and find a flow, see how it all, because we want to have 75, 80 minutes of just entertaining and taking our audiences on a journey. We want it to be somewhat educational, certainly learning a few things in a fun way. Here's some songs that I do think it's an opportunity to work in a few songs people might not be as familiar with, amongst the songs that so you hear a bunch of songs that you love, and then every once in a while I go, oh, that's new and interesting. Well, I've trusted them up to this point. They haven't led me wrong. I've been enjoying it. I'm going to sit back and maybe hear a song that I didn't know before, maybe learn something new, and then get back to some more familiar material as well.
Right. Well, we are opening 25 Questions for a Jewish Mother in about a week and a half. And then we have Operation Immigration. Once that is a little bit more in gear, we can get to the musical work.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can do your thing. I'm going to keep working on it because I have time now. I mean, one of the reasons when you said, when you first asked, when I said, I'll see, because what I've learned to do over the years is I've learned to say no, which is something I used to be terrible at, but now I've gotten very good at it because I have to say no to most things because I'm pretty much, my plate is very full. But then I got to thinking, with this unique situation, with the way that things are, and with so many things up in the air, I mean, I'm not going to be at Bachman's as Albert the Elf, 12 hours a weekend. with kids sitting, hoisting kids in Santa's lap. That's not going to happen this year. It's a Wonderful Life may not happen. My teaching will probably still be remote. So this is a great opportunity for me to work with people that, that I love, and for a theater company that I love, and putting together a really unique and interesting show in a different way. And it's a whole new challenge. And I like new challenges. I think once you stop accepting new challenges, then that's when you just kind of atrophy, and I'm not ready to do that yet.
Well, the whole COVID-19 pandemic, is certainly a challenge, but I also feel like in some ways it just presents an opportunity to try something different and be creative. So I think it's going to be great fun to work with you on this. And I got lucky. I don't know that you've ever said no to me. So I escaped that.
You're a hard person to say no to, I tell you. I mean, as you know, you're very persuasive. You have some kind of magical powers where you get people to do stuff. I just feel like, okay, it's Barbara. I have to say yes. Okay, and then I figure out a way to do it, and I always have a blast. So I'm glad that I'm glad it worked out.
Good. Well, it's great to chat with you, and we will be doing a lot more of it very soon.
Yes, we will, my friend. You wrap up those other shows and get back to me.
I'll get back to you before they wrap.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. Take care.
You take care too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.